Good Tuesday morning of the 29th week of Ordinary Time. This again is Luke. It's the same chapter, 12. Boy, this guy could write. It's a great parable, a great story here. He says, Jesus said to his disciples, gird your loins and light your lamps, and be like servants who await their master's return from a wedding, ready to open immediately when he comes and knocks. Blessed are those servants whom the master finds vigilant on his arrival. Amen, I say to you, he will gird himself and have them recline at table and proceed to wait on them. And should he come in the second or third watch and find them prepared in this way, blessed are those servants. Isn't that a neat thought? That the master of the house becomes the servant to this, becomes the servant of the servants who served him. Isn't that a neat story? I always think of my father when it comes to things like that, and I'll tell you why. Father, you know this story. He was a waiter. And I remember I told you, I know I told you this story, that for whatever reasons, either I was a deacon or just ordained, 50-plus years, 55, 56 years ago. I was in New Haven for something, and my pop was working at the Tivoli. And my mom said, why don't you go there and have dinner? Your dad said to come and have dinner at the Tivoli. So I did. I went. And my father waited on me. And I said to him, Pop, why don't you sit down? He says, I'm a waiter. I stand at the table. I always think of that. I always think of that we are servants, okay? We are servants. I think of that as standing at the altar, to be honest, as a priest. We are servants standing at the table, waiting on the people of God. And in the end, we are the recipients. See? Gird your loins, light your lamps, be like servants who wait their master's return. See? Ready to open immediately when he comes and knocks. Be ready. Be prepared to serve. See? Be ready to be ready to serve. And that is, I was thinking of the old man, I think of my father in the restaurant, but you know, what it is telling you is something extremely important, as he's telling us, that the graces of God come when you least expect it. But that's true of life as well. Namely, every moment of your life is a revelatory moment, at least potentially, because every moment of one's life possesses the character the character of availability to the surprise. I didn't say that right. I didn't say it well. In other words, every moment has a surprise in it, has the potential for a surprise visit, as it were. I'm not saying any of this well at all. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I should say this better. But life is not a machine. It's a response to the availability of beauty, goodness, truth, and I'd say grace. That every moment can be and could and likely is a grace moment. A moment in which the beauty of life, the challenges of life, the presence of Christ, glorified and crucified, is present. And if we are open to that presence, then he will visit us. See? But that if our door is open to him, by that is true of almost any great thing about life, though, not just about Christ. It's about love, about friendship and love, making myself, always conditioning myself to be available to the surprises of existence, the surprises of love, to be open to the adventure. In this case, the adventure of God's grace, God's presence in our life as he calls us into his own mystery. But he usually calls us to the people he has providentially given us. You know, the people of our lives. I'll give you an example of that, okay, for whatever it's worth. Yeah. When you've met your spouse, your wife or your husband, what was the glance what was that first impression when you went from seeing a stranger to feeling the call of beauty and goodness and love? What did it look like? When did that moment, a great song, I know I mentioned this a million times, but Barbara Streisand said, "He touched me, and nothing is the same." I love that line. I love that song, "He touched me, and nothing is the same." It's true of life, and it's true of Christ. He comes and he touches us many times when you least expect it. I used to say that about deer hunting, whatever it's worth to you. So when you least expect it, that's when he'll show up. It took 5 years for him to show up for me. 7 years before I got a deer. I had a deer the same day I got my dissertation accepted. I called home to tell my parents, "Pop, Ma, I got a deer." After 7 years, got a deer. It was a Wednesday afternoon. My father, "Hey, bravo, good for you." "Oh, yeah, I also have a PhD." I also got my dissertation accepted. I have a PhD. Ask me what meant more to me. I think it was that deer. I'll tell you the truth. It took more for me to get the deer than it took to get the PhD. It's, of course, ridiculous, but it isn't. Okay? It's the adventure of life. I'm so conscious of that. I'm just sharing some babbling thoughts here. It's so, it seems to me, one needs to be vigilant about the surprises of life. Not plan it all away, but be open to its surprises, its beauty, and its goodness, especially in the people of one's life. I'll give you one more example. What I was thinking about, especially this week, I don't know why this week more than ever, but when I drove out here in 1971 to go to graduate school, when I've told the story. So the very reason I'm making these videos, I went to St. Tim's to live. I had no idea that I would be still here 53 years later. No idea. What a gift. What a precious, precious gift. And one of the key moments of that gift was a suggestion by the pastor, Joe Cronin, to go out in the backyard and make friends with the people, because they were playing ball out there. Their fathers were coaching their 2nd and 3rd grade children, playing baseball. I went out, made lifelong friends. Right there, the world changed to me. I remember Dick Heinrichs, God rest his soul, when Dick came up to me and he said, "Hi, I'm Dick Heinrichs." His son Kurt was playing, he was in the 2nd grade. Oh, lasting friendship, see? "Hi, I'm Dick Heinrichs." That was a crucial key moment. See, I don't know how else to put it. That was a moment when I was a moment of invitational friendship that changed my life. I stopped seeing these parishioners. They weren't parishioners to me. They were friends. That was just the tip of the iceberg. Dick died a long time ago, 20 years ago. But, you know, those were moments of grace, the moments of grace, when you least expect it. When you least expect it, there can be a moment, a look. Yes, it could be a moment when you least expect it, in which there's a gracing moment when somebody comes into your life or touches you, Barbara Streisand, and somebody touches you and nothing is the same. Nor do you want it to be the same. You are so grateful for that touch. Grateful. Because your life has just taken on a new, deeper narrative. It's a graced moment. It's a graced moment. Yeah. I think about all of our vocations in those terms, but also, good grief, it's any aspect of life. It can be a word here, a gentle word there. It can be a criticism. It could be anything. Anything that turns the ordinary into the extraordinary. A definitive moment in your narrative where nothing is the same. Where all of a sudden the adventure becomes more adventuresome. Maybe that's what I'm thinking these days. Been here 53 years. Who could have ever guessed it? Not me. And yet, Nothing has been the same. One of the great singular gifts in my life was the parish, St. Mark's, St. Timothy, St. Mark's. The least thing I expected became one of the most marvelous gifts of my life. And it's the people of the parish, not the parish as such, as an institution, or the clergy as an institution. They're good guys, not that. It was the people of the parish. When I went on the ball field, that first night I was here, hi, I'm Dick Heinrichs. It's just how it started. Yeah, you see? It's an adventure, isn't it? When did you meet your husband or your wife? When? What was that moment when nothing is the same? Those are grace moments, see? If our hearts are vigilant and open to the surprises of life, then life is an adventure every moment that we breathe. We are open to the surprises of existence, and it's personal.